I knew where I was going to hide the treasure chest. And I told myself, with my last gasping breath, I was going to go out there and fling myself on top of that treasure chest and let my bones go back to the dirt.
This is Conversations with Cynthia, episode number 12, the finale. In light of the recent information that has come out due to the hearings, I think this video might be pretty mundane, but I was encouraged to make it anyway. Here is a recap of my recent visit to West Yellowstone National Park and my attempt to find the Nook log in the trees across from Fenn Rock. I hope you enjoy it. Here is an often misquoted quote of Forrest's: "If you know precisely where it is, you can probably retrieve it in any weather." This was on Mysterious Writings Weekly Words posted December 11th, 2015. The emphasis should be on the words precisely and probably. My problem was I didn't know precisely where it was. I had a grid search area of less than a quarter of an acre, but with any snow on the ground, I knew it would be impossible. So I went to Big Sky Anglers to learn about waders and the current river conditions. So I'm here at Big Sky Anglers in West Yellowstone, Montana. I'm going to go in here and see if I can get anyone to talk on camera about waders to someone like me that knows absolutely nothing about fly fishing or wading using waders. So let's... Good. I have questions about waders. I've never used them before, never fly fished, but I need something to cross the rivers.
Yeah, absolutely.
Do you have them?
Yeah,
and,
we have some waders.
Okay, so I have a little YouTube channel. Can I ask you questions and then put it on my YouTube channel, or not?
I'd rather not.
Is there anyone here that would do it? That would talk to me and let me film it?
What's your business?
Did this used to be the Bud Lilly one?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I know Justin Posey. So I think Bud Lilly was Justin's like great-grandfather or something. Okay, there's more to the story, but I will explain it in the next chapter. I bought a spool of backing to recreate Forrest running a line when he hid the chest so he could find it his second trip. And then I went on my way. I had bought a pair of waders at Cabela's in Vegas a couple months ago. I decided it would be good to go back to 9 Mile Hole and try them out. While the video plays, I'm going to finish the story about in the store. The other guy who worked there was Joe, and very helpful and friendly. I asked about the current river conditions regarding depth and flow, and then asked if I could hike in waders after crossing the river. He was cautious with his answers, and then I mentioned 3 little dirty words: 9 Mile Hole. His demeanor changed, he squinted his eyes, and he said to me, "I no longer rent waders to Fenn treasure hunters." Like, dang. I silently thought, thank goodness I have my own. Even though his demeanor changed a bit, I continued to talk friendly with him, and when he knew that I wasn't the jerk that maybe some of the other ones were, we said our friendly goodbyes, and I went on my way. And by the way, I loved wearing the waders. Bear spray, Pelican box, battery pack, shovel, poop paper, gloves, whisk to brush off the snow, surveyor's tape for marking the grid area, backing 150 feet to mark fence running a line. Always take baggies, garbage bags, and last but not least, a sandwich and the documents in sleeves. My God, this must weigh 50 pounds. I think this heavier than the chest and the gems. That lid is heavy. What the heck? Even the bison know Fenn Rock is one of the hints in the book. I'm walking downstream from Fenn Rock just a bit to where I always cross the river. Okay. This is a spot where I crossed all last summer. The water's still really low. This is why I wanted to do this now. I talked to the guy at Big Sky Anglers in West Yellowstone yesterday, and he confirmed that the creek is still running fairly low. So this is going to be an adventure. Here we go. I'm using old ski poles with the baskets removed. It is 7 minutes till 12. Now everyone can watch me and my waders. This is really cool. I like the waders. Of course, this is the easy part. It doesn't get deep until almost the other side. Very interesting. Following the green. Following the green. Thank God I've done this before. So I have some idea of what I'm doing. Oh, it's swift. I really don't like this. I want everyone to know that if I can wade across the river at 68 and a half years old, 5'3" and 125 pounds, almost anyone, including kids, can do this in summer and fall. In the summer last year, we would intentionally fall in the water just to cool off. A word of warning for searchers crossing in late May and June: it will be a bit deeper and a bit swifter, FYI. I'm shuffling my feet on the river bottom, taking it slow. I really don't want to have to do this again. Whew. In case you can't see the water, it is really only up to my knees. However, I know that's going to change soon. Still shuffling my feet, getting a good grip as I make my way across the river. I'm almost there. Whew. All I can say is I hope I don't have to cross this rapidly anytime soon. Watching the green grass in the bottom. I think the fishermen refer to that as the underwater bridges. Current's really strong right here. So I'm really shuffling my feet. Going slow. Really slow. Justin still has his camera up, I see. So if I fall in, maybe he'll get to see it. one more deep spot, and that's right here. Going really slow. Shuffling. Hitting a deep hole right now. Right there, it's just above my knees, and that is the deepest hole if you cross right here. Well, so far so good, my first trip. Hey Justin, how you doing? Now I'm crawling up the bank. And that, folks, is 5 minutes of your life you can never get back. Sorry about that, but I wanted everyone to cross the Madison vicariously through me. Oh, and just so you get some orientation for the people that haven't been here and don't know, Fenn Rock from that oil tree is right there. Okay, now I'm walking from almost across from Fenn Rock along the end is ever drawing nigh. Clue, hopefully, upstream, river on my left. And I am headed to the Dry Creek, which is going to be my easternmost longitudinal line. Oh, here's a real nice new, oh, I think this is new. Some searcher. They put a mark in a tree. Someone left their own blaze. Here I'm walking from across from Fenn Rock to the Dry Creek, about 50 feet. Remember in 2013 when Jennifer London interviewed Forrest and kept asking about Brown's house? Who's Brown? And Forrest finally answered, if I told you that, you'd go right to the chest. Yep, Mr. Brown, living in the hole with the fish. He often said in interviews how he named the fish. And before moving on, could the hole with the fish also be water high? In this Margie Goldsmith article from 2014, Forrest said, and what about water high? Does it mean deep or higher than normal? The deep fishing hole could also satisfy this quote from Forrest on Dale's site in 2012. What is wrong with me riding my bike out there and throwing it in the water high when I am through with it? Okay, this is basically what I'm doing. I tied an end to my 200-foot pre-measured survey ribbon, and I'm winding it up the Dry Creek here, which is really crazy walking on this in the snow because of all the logs that are underneath. But this is for people who have never been here, who don't know what it's like. And as I go, I'm unwinding this, and since it's mostly snow covered, I'm just going wherever, just to go through the trees where I can best go. So anyway, I'm pretty sure up here is the clearing, and that's going to be right around the 150 or 200 foot line. I'm almost to the clearing, which is perfect because I think this is where Vox filmed with us last June. But anyway, they probably have the actual log on video. But anyway, what is taking so long and is exhausting is that as I step over some of these logs and scoot off the snow and then kick down along them, at least I'm making this easy for the next guy. Okay, fellow Nook searchers, I am approximately 200 feet from the river back that Dry Creek, and to my amazement, this is what I'm seeing, and this is where I was hoping it would take me. Okay, I'm at the ribbon and a log that would be about the right size, but it's not against the ground, at least not right there. So anyway, what I want everyone to see is if this ends up all we get, and we just know this general area, and people don't understand why it's a special place to forest, this is what you see when you look out towards the Madison River. Just saying. And here's another Forrest quote about where the treasure chest rested from 2015. The question: would you want the person that finds your treasure to admire the place where it rests? Forrest answered, well, Andrew, I'm not sure admire is the right word, but if we twist it a little, maybe we can make it work. The word means approval or high regard, so it works. I sure feel that way, or I would not have hidden it there. To the east, you can see my pink ribbon, sort of, the end of it. And then one reason I wanted to talk a little bit more about thinking that the Dry Creek is a possibility is Jack said that the poem tells you where to go into the trees or forest. So that's the only thing I can think of. There'll be no paddle up your creek, and many of us think that paddle means to wade in shallow water, and therefore it is a creek with no water. You cannot wade. So, okay, so this is basically the criteria I'm using. For one thing, the log has to be probably at somewhere like, I don't know, 4 to 5 to 6 inches in diameter. It has to be against the ground, I believe. And the other thing is, in the picture, we have this. And here you have this with just a little nub. And then why I like this is because you have this back here, which if I move that different, you have that. So, I mean, and there again, the angle really makes a difference. Oh, by the way, I want everyone to know I do have my bear spray handy, so I can spray myself somewhere, either my crotch or my face if a bear comes along. But anyway, this is not it, but basically, I think it can be found, but I think it's going to take a lot of time. So, and yeah, it's going to take time. Okay, this is probably all I'm going to get searched today. But anyway, this is where I'm going to set up my base camp, because I do believe that this is just an incredible possibility of where Fenn hid the chest and where Jack found it. And one of the things I do want to say is, just like this picture right here, I mean, everyone can see all the down logs here, but there's some real good comments that have been made for me with Rudy, and some other people gave me some really good help, and I had some specific directions actually on where to go. So anyway, but Rudy brought up the point that in this picture, I don't know if he meant that this is a root or he meant these are roots, and obviously that's one thing to look for, whether or not there's still a pile of bark after 3 years. I hope eventually it comes out that Jack really did find it in the fall of 2019, so that everyone that comes and tries to find this log will understand this area has had 3 winters of snow on it. So anyway, FYI for everyone that comes after me. Okay, the area where I really think that where Jack might have found the chest was directly back from Fenn Rock. So right in front of me is Fenn Rock, and now I'm going to pan around here 180 degrees and tell you or show you, even though there's a lot of small trees back through there, it is certainly easily enough to go back there 150 to 200 feet. So this definitely, between here and the Dry Creek, will be my main search grid. Okay, basically you can see I'm straight across from Fenn Rock. And for the people that don't understand why Forrest would need to run a line to be able to find it again on his second trip, this is exactly the kind of place he could have walked back to. And from here, it's hard to even see my bright orange backpack. So there again, I think there's a good possibility that he also just walked back 150 feet, or if he walked at a diagonal, it's not even 150 feet. So anyway, I'm going to now run this backing line 150 feet. I could show another 15 minutes of footage in the trees across from Fenn Rock, but this is already longer than I planned. I did not find an log, but I was so happy to get one last boots on the ground. It is now time to move forward and let go of forest treasure and return to the real treasures Yellowstone is meant for, hiking the trails and viewing the wildlife. You don't need to solve a puzzle or even get out of your car to see some amazing animals. I watched all of these guys from the road.